Good morning, Algebra 2. Believe me, I would much rather be with you today. Please make sure that you have your workbooks open. Today we're going to do a short lesson on 2.7, and you can spend the rest of the time in part study hall or finishing up any math that you have due from sections 2.7, 2.6, or your weekly ALEX. I wanted to solve a few of these problems together to show you what we're talking about. Whenever we're solving proportions, this is something that you're going to use frequently in life. But you'll have one unknown, and that's literally the definition of algebra. Algebra is all about our unknowns. So let's tackle number 3 together, okay? We can do this together in our workbooks. And I'm going to show you one way of visualizing this. So we have the fraction 9/6, and this is equal to x over 10. I'm going to use some different colors to show you something called the butterfly method. So I'm going to circle my 9 and my 10, and I'm also going to circle my x and my 6. And I'm going to set these equal to each other. 9 times 10 equals 6 times x. So if I simplify that, what does that give me? I get 90 on this side, and I still have 6x on the other side. But we've just created for ourselves an equation that we know how to solve, right? Our goal is always to isolate x. We want to know what x equals all by itself. And we know that 6x is the same thing as 6 times x, so we can use one of our property of equalities, the division property of equality. As long as we keep our promise and do both things to that equal sign, both sides are treated the same, we can go ahead and divide. Okay, so now we've discovered what x equals. X equals 15, but as you know, after we've isolated x and solved for x, sometimes we still don't know what the answer is. And I want you to be able to check your answer all by yourself. So let's go back and take a look at our original equation. We had 9 divided by 6. And if you use your trusty calculators, you'll find out that that's the same as 1.5. And now we can substitute 15 in for x because we're checking our answers. We're going to make sure that we get the same answer. And if you plug this into your trusty calculator, you've just checked your own answer. 9/6 does indeed equal 15 divided by 10. Okay, so let's go on to do something that's a little more challenging together. Let's try number 7, okay? All right, so now we've set up a proportion, but in this one, we now have b plus 1 divided by b minus 1 is equal to 9/7. So I'm going to use the butterfly method the same way I did before. Okay. And now I'm going to set up my equation. So this time I have 7 times b plus 1. And this is going to be equal to 9 times b minus 1, okay? Understanding how to write an equation is one of the most important things in algebra. So we've just written our equation, And many of you will correctly identify our next step because we have to follow the order of operations, also known as PEMDAS. Okay, so we need to start with the distributive property. We need to start by multiplying 7 times b, and 7 times 1 is 7. And on the other side, we have 9 times b is 9b, minus 9 times 1. Okay, whoops, I'm sorry, we don't actually need these parentheses anymore because we've just done away with that. So they're no longer needed. Okay, so there's my 9. And now we have an equation that's very solvable. We have variables on both sides, on the left and the right side. And I think we've talked before about how easy it is if you find your largest positive variable. In this case, it's 9b. So we're going to move the lower variable to the other side. And in this case, we have addition. So we're going to undo that with subtraction, okay? And we end up with 7 on this side. 9b minus 7b is 2b minus 9. But we still don't have our variable all by itself, but we can use the addition property of equality on both sides. 9 plus 7 is 16. And on the other side, we just have 2b left, right? And one more step. This is the same as saying 2 times b. So we have to divide both sides by 2. And finally, we get our answer. 8 equals b. Okay, so circle it. But then we also need to go back here and figure out what was that proportion. So we have 8 plus 1, which equals 9. And we have 8 minus 1, which equals 7. So did we just check our answer there? We did. And I believe that we've just done the hardest one here together. So I would like you to go ahead and finish 2.7 for today. We will do, I can't get to the word problems. Okay, I'll stop there. Wait, I can get to the word problems. Aha. Okay, so I wanted to work on number 11 with you because this one is a little bit tricky. So we're given a ratio of boys to girls. So for every 3 boys, there are 2 girls, okay? So we're given this ratio. But we want to know if there are 60 total people, how many girls are there? So this is going to be an interesting thing to set up together. Because we're being asked to set up a ratio for the first time ourselves. So we know how many girls there are to boys, but how many are there total? Okay, there would be 5 total in this scenario. Okay, so for every 5 total people, 2 of them are girls. Does that make sense? So let's look at it this way. There are 2 girls out of every 5 people. And we want to know how many girls there are when we have 60 total people. So that's how I'm setting up this particular ratio. So let's try to solve this. Using our butterfly method, we have 2 and 60 and 5 and x, so this will be a simple one. So we have 2 times 60 equals 5 times x and 2 times 60 is 120 equals 5x. And we haven't yet isolated our variable, so we need to do the same thing to both sides. We have to honor the promise of our equal sign. Both sides are treated equally. And we end up with x equals 24. So let's circle that now that we've solved for x. But we need to be sure of our answer. So let's go back to our ratio. If you divide 2 by 5, you can plug that into your calculator and you'll get 0.4. And let's plug in our value for x. We have 24 divided by 60. And if you divide 24 by 60 in your calculator, you will also end up with 0.4, okay? So we've just checked our answer. But I wanted to do this one with you because this gets you thinking, when we have a ratio, what can we set equal to something else? So in this particular problem, we started with a ratio of boys to girls, but we ended up being asked about total people, which means we have to go back to the information we had in the beginning, boys and girls, and figure out what that total is. So out of every 5 people, 2 are girls, okay? If instead of giving us total people, they'd given us a number of boys, then we could have solved that differently. If they had said the ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 2, if there are 60 boys total, how many girls are there? Okay, then we could have used the ratio of boys to girls. But in this case, they're not giving us equivalent information, so we've got to put our thinking caps on. Okay, you guys, good work today. I hope you focused and were very respectful for your substitute. I will see you tomorrow. And please go ahead and finish up this work for today and spend any of your remaining time working on your ALEKS or catching up on any other work that's due. You're welcome to treat part of today like a study hall for your other classes. And I would also like someone in class to volunteer today to pass out all the graded work that's sitting in the file. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you soon.